Now, January 6th will go down as one of the darkest days in recent American history.
Lawmakers get back to work this evening, hours after protests escalated into violence, putting the Capitol on lockdown. Good evening, I'm Maya Signs. Police pushed back protesters into the night in D.C., where a curfew is now in effect. Lawmakers were in the middle of counting the Electoral College votes when some rioters stormed inside to the Capitol. We continue to follow the latest reaction from area lawmakers. But first, the Capitol has been declared safe, so lawmakers could return to their session on certifying the presidential election. Washington, D.C. Fire Department says at least 7 people were transported to local hospitals with injuries. Police say one female shooting victim has died. Now, earlier, rioters stormed the building, breaking through doors and busting windows. Capitol Police drew their weapons at one barricaded door from inside of the house. Eventually, protesters breached both chambers. When lawmakers reconvened in the Senate, Vice President Mike Pence said this.
Violence never wins. Freedom wins. And this is still the people's house.
Now, law enforcement also responded to reports of pipe bombs outside the DNC, RNC, and the Capitol. Area lawmakers are reacting to the chaos and tension that unfolded today. We now turn to 3 News Now reporter Jessica Edson live in the newsroom on how Nebraska's delegation is reacting. Jessica?
Thank you, Maya. Wednesday morning, congressional leaders gathered to witness the certification of the electoral vote. Tonight, they are witnessing the aftermath of rioters storming the Capitol building.
Congressman Don Bacon says he was watching the proceedings from another room when the violence began.
And that's what I saw on C-SPAN, people barging into the chamber and people fleeing the chamber. And that's when we knew we had obviously we had a serious escalation.
Like Bacon, Representative Jeff Fortenberry retreated to his office with his staff when it became clear that the situation had turned dangerous.
Look, a lot of this is surreal. I mean, I'm watching the TV from outside of the scenes from outside the Capitol, and people are still milling about. Right here in the park behind me, guys walking his dog. I mean, in 2 blocks away, you have this mob violence going on inside of the Capitol.
Other Nebraska congressional leaders also issued statements, with many confirming that they and their staff were safe. All leaders condemned the violence, saying it was shameful and unpatriotic.
Those who are turning this into violent protest and are taking over public buildings and creating dangerous situations are undermining our democracy, undermining their very right. This is reckless and wrong.
Senator Deb Fischer reacted to the day's events, saying these rioters have no constitutional right to harm law enforcement and storm our Capitol. We are a nation of laws, not some banana republic. This must end now. Others, like Senator Ben Sasse, are condemning President Donald Trump for not respecting a peaceful transfer of power and continuing to spread messages about unproven voter fraud. He says today the United States Capitol, the world's greatest symbol of self-government, was ransacked while the leader of the free world cowered behind his keyboard, tweeting against his vice president for fulfilling the duties of his oath to the Constitution. Congressman Bacon says it's also time for Republican leaders to step up.
I think in the end, we always have a choice. Do you play into the populism, which may give you a short-term benefit and surge, or are you the person that you want people to trust?
Congressman Adrian Smith, who we were told retreated to the basement of the Capitol at one point, called for protesters to remain peaceful and said the storming of the Capitol was getting in the way of the election concerns being addressed. Live in the newsroom, Jessica Edson, 3 News Now.